When I look at Noah's chart through the lens of Nakshatra, MBTI, and Enneagram, I am not looking for a random personality label. I am looking for the inner operating system. I am asking, how does this child think, feel, act, defend, desire, bond, compete, learn, protect, and grow? And this is where Nakshatra becomes the bridge. MBTI gives us the cognitive architecture. Enneagram gives us the emotional survival strategy. But Nakshatra shows the root impulse underneath both. It tells us why the mind behaves the way it behaves. It tells us why a child may look confident outside but feel guarded inside. It tells us why intelligence may come through strategy, why emotion may come through protection, why creativity may come through ambition, and why action may come through conviction. For Noah, the diagnosis is very clear. The dominant MBTI signature is ENTJ, but not a simple, loud, surface-level ENTJ. This is ENTJ with INFJ depth and INTJ inner architecture. The dominant Enneagram signature is 8W7, with strong Type 2 and Type 5 layers. That means Noah is not just a challenger. He is a strategic protector. He wants power, but not only for ego. He wants power so he does not feel helpless. He wants control so the people and values he cares about do not collapse. He wants to understand before he trusts. He wants loyalty before he opens. He wants truth before he relaxes. This is a very strong personality pattern. Noah has Scorpio Rising in Anuradha Nakshatra, and this becomes the root personality field. Scorpio Rising does not create a casual child. It creates a child who watches, absorbs, senses, measures, remembers, and investigates. Anuradha adds loyalty, emotional intelligence, relationship depth, and the instinct to form strong bonds, but only after trust is established. So the first thing to understand about Noah is this. He may not always reveal what he is feeling, but he is feeling deeply. He may not always explain what he is thinking, but he is observing carefully. He may not always say who he trusts, but he is constantly evaluating loyalty. This is why the INFJ and INTJ layers are so strong underneath the ENTJ expression. On the surface, he can become decisive, commanding, ambitious, persuasive, and strong-willed. But inside, he is not shallow. He is psychologically alert. He studies people. He notices shifts in tone. He remembers emotional inconsistencies. He can sense when someone is fake, weak, manipulative, or unreliable. This is a child who should not be dismissed with generic labels like bossy, stubborn, too intense, or too serious. Those are surface observations. The deeper truth is that Noah's psyche is built around protection, strategy, emotional loyalty, and control of vulnerability. Now let us come to the moon, because the moon shows the emotional body. Noah's moon is in Cancer, Pushya Nakshatra, in the 9th house, with Jupiter also in Cancer. This is a very important emotional placement. Pushya moon gives emotional responsibility, caregiving instinct, mentoring ability, and a desire to create safety. But because it is in the 9th house, Noah's emotional security is not just about comfort. It is about meaning. It's about principles. It is about teachers, beliefs, wisdom, ethics, guidance, and a sense that life has a larger purpose. Emotionally, Noah does not just want to be loved. He wants to feel that life makes sense. He wants to know who is right, who is trustworthy, who is principled, who is worth following, and what larger truth is guiding the family or environment around him. This is why his emotional body points strongly toward INFJ and ENFJ qualities. He can care deeply. He can guide others. He can feel responsible for people. He may naturally protect younger children, family members, friends, or anyone he emotionally adopts as his people. But here's the catch. Pushya moon can also absorb too much. Noah may quietly carry emotional pressure. He may feel responsible for fixing people, advising people, defending people, or holding the emotional structure together. If the home environment is chaotic, inconsistent, or morally confusing, he may become more controlling, more guarded, or more reactive. So with Noah, emotional nourishment must come through structure, wisdom, and trust. He needs adults who do not just say calm down. He needs adults who explain, guide, teach, and stand consistently by their values. Now look at Mercury, the planet of mind and intellect. Noah's Mercury is in Libra Swakshatra in the 12th house, joined with the Sun. This is a very interesting mind. Swati Mercury is independent, clever, diplomatic, flexible, witty, social, and negotiation-oriented. It can see multiple angles. It can understand fairness, contracts, people, social positioning, and the psychology of conversation. This gives Noah a strong ENTP-like mental style. He may question, he may debate, he may test arguments, he may not accept instructions just because someone older said them. He wants the logic, he wants the reason, he wants to know whether the rule is fair. But because Mercury is in the 12th house, the mind becomes private. Noah may not always say everything he is processing. He may think in the background. He may create hidden mental loops. He may analyze people silently. He may withdraw when overstimulated. He may need solitude to make sense of what he has absorbed. This is why I do not read him as a pure ENTP. Mercury gives ENTP intelligence, yes, but Scorpio rising, Saturn in the 1st, Venus in Scorpio, and the 12th house Mercury all make the mind more strategic, private, and controlled. So the Mercury layer supports ENTP as a mental tool, but the full personality remains closer to ENTJ with INTJ depth. In education, this means Noah should not be taught through dry repetition alone. He needs debate, strategy, problem solving, discussion, ethical questions, case studies, and systems. He learns better when the subject has meaning, challenge, and intellectual freedom. If he feels controlled without explanation, resistance will rise. If he is respected as a thinking person, his intelligence opens quickly. Now we come to Venus, the planet of values, creativity, relationships, attraction, aesthetics, and what the person desires to refine. Noah's Venus is in Scorpio, Vishakha Nakshatra, in the 1st house with Saturn. This is a very powerful placement for identity. Venus in the 1st means beauty, bonding, values, relationship intelligence, and creativity become part of the personality itself. But in Scorpio, Venus is not light, casual, or decorative. It is intense. It wants depth. It wants loyalty. It wants emotional truth. It does not enjoy shallow bonding. Vishakha adds ambition, determination, influence, achievement, and leadership. This is one of the strongest reasons the MBTI tilts toward ENTJ and the Enneagram tilts toward Type 8 with Type 3 and Type 5 support. Noah's creative engagement is not just about art for beauty, it is about impact. He may enjoy performance, speaking, leadership, design, strategy, business, competitive expression, symbolic systems, psychology, or anything where creativity becomes influence. This is not Venus as softness. This is Venus as magnetism, Venus as ambition, Venus as emotional intensity, Venus as I want to create something powerful, meaningful, and respected. But Saturn with Venus in the 1st adds seriousness. This can make Noah mature early. It can make him careful with trust. It can create self-consciousness, restraint, or a feeling that love, approval, and beauty must be earned. In relationships later in life, he may not like casual inconsistency. He may test loyalty. He may want deep commitment, but may struggle to show vulnerability easily. For parents, this is very important. Do not shame his intensity. Teach him emotional language. Teach him how to express desire without control. Teach him that loyalty does not mean possession, and love does not require emotional testing. Now Mars. Mars is extremely important because for Scorpio rising, Mars is the Lagna Lord. It shows the life drive, action style, physical force, logic, courage, and survival response. Noah's Mars is in Sagittarius, Purva Ashadha Nakshatra in the 2nd house. This is a powerful action signature. Purva Ashadha is victory-oriented. It wants to persuade, inspire, push, compete, lead, and win. Sagittarius adds philosophy, belief, truth, ethics, teaching, law, principles, and long-range vision. Placed in the 2nd house, Mars expresses through speech, values, family identity, food, money, and verbal assertion. So Noah's words can carry force. When he believes something, he may speak with conviction. When he feels something is unfair, he may challenge it. When family, values, or truth are threatened, he can become sharp. This Mars is one of the clearest indicators of Enneagram Type 8. The instinct is, I must be strong. I must not be controlled. I must defend what matters. I must speak when something is wrong. This also supports the ENTJ profile because Mars gives decisive action, leadership energy, and goal-directed force. But it is not blind action. Sagittarius makes the action ideological. Noah does not just want to move. He wants to move towards something he believes in. The growth lesson here is speech discipline. Mars in the 2nd can motivate, inspire, and defend, but it can also wound through words. Noah must be taught early that power in speech is sacred. Strong words should protect truth, not humiliate people. His voice can become a weapon or a leadership instrument. That depends on training. Now when we synthesize all 4 personal planets, the pattern becomes unmistakable. Moon in Pushya says, emotionally, I protect, guide, nurture, and seek moral meaning. Mercury in Swati says, mentally, I analyze, negotiate, question, compare, and seek intellectual freedom. Venus in Vishakha says, creatively and relationally, I desire depth, influence, ambition, loyalty, and transformation. Mars in Purva Ashadha says, in action, I persuade, fight, lead, speak with conviction, and push toward victory. This is why Noah's dominant MBTI is ENTJ. But because the moon and ascendant are so emotionally deep, this ENTJ is not purely corporate, mechanical, or achievement only. This is an ENTJ with an inner counselor, an ENTJ with psychological X-ray vision, an ENTJ with loyalty wounds and protection instincts, an ENTJ who can become a leader, mentor, strategist, coach, advocate, researcher, or guide. The Enneagram diagnosis is equally clear. His core is type 8 because the chart repeats force, protection, control, leadership, intensity, and refusal to be dominated. His second layer is type 2 because Pushya Moon and Anuradha Rising make him emotionally protective, loyal, caring, and deeply bonded to those he considers close. His third layer is type 5 because Scorpio, Ashlesha influence, Mercury in the 12th, and the overall private investigative temperament create observation, research, secrecy, and a need to understand before engaging. So the strongest Enneagram tritype is 825, the strategic protector. This is the child who may say, I don't care, but actually cares intensely. This is the child who may push back, but often because he is testing strength, fairness, and truth. This is the child who may look tough, but underneath toughness is sensitivity to betrayal, emotional inconsistency, and weakness in the adults around him. The danger with Noah is misunderstanding his intensity as defiance. If you only punish the surface behavior, you may miss the intelligence underneath. If you try to dominate him, he will resist. If you try to manipulate him emotionally, he will remember. If you are inconsistent, he will lose respect. But if you give him structure, respect, responsibility, meaningful challenge, and honest explanation, he can rise very fast. For education, Noah needs a system that combines challenge with meaning. He should be encouraged toward debate, leadership projects, sports, martial discipline, public speaking, psychology, research, strategy games, philosophy, writing, and problem solving. He will likely respond well to mentors who are firm but fair. He does not need weak permissiveness. He needs strong guidance without ego domination. For hobbies, he needs outlets that channel Mars and Scorpio constructively. Martial arts, athletics, debate, chess, strategy games, writing, research, music with discipline, public speaking, leadership clubs, mentoring younger children, or structured competitive activities can be very useful. If this energy is not channeled, it can become verbal aggression, private overthinking, emotional control, power struggles, or intensity in relationships. But when channeled properly, the same energy becomes leadership, protection, confidence, courage, emotional intelligence, and strategic excellence. The key is not to make Noah less intense. The key is to make his intensity intelligent. You do not dilute a child like this. You refine him. You teach him that power without emotional awareness becomes control. You teach him that loyalty without boundaries becomes burden. You teach him that truth without compassion becomes harshness. You teach him that strategy without trust becomes isolation. And when these lessons land, Noah becomes formidable. He can become the child who protects others, leads groups, sees through nonsense, stands up for fairness, learns deeply, speaks powerfully, and builds his own path. He is not designed to be a passive follower. He is designed to become a strong, emotionally intelligent, morally guided leader. That is why Nakshatra gives us something MBTI and Enneagram alone cannot give. MBTI tells us the cognitive type. Enneagram tells us the emotional defense pattern. But Nakshatra shows the seed. It shows why Noah's ENTJ is not just ambition, but protection. Why his type 8 is not just dominance, but loyalty. Why his type 5 is not just withdrawal, but investigation. Why his type 2 is not just helping, but emotional guardianship. So the final diagnosis is this. Noah is best mapped as ENTJ with strong INFJ and INTJ undertones. His Enneagram is 8W7 with a likely 825 tritype. His core archetype is the strategic protector. He is here to learn how to use power wisely, how to speak truth without injury, how to protect without controlling, how to trust without becoming naive, and how to lead without hardening his heart. For a child or teenager with this type of chart, the most important thing is early understanding. Do not wait until intensity becomes conflict. Do not wait until silence becomes distance. Do not wait until leadership becomes rebellion. Read the pattern early. Understand the emotional engine. Understand the Nakshatra bridge. Understand the MBTI expression. Understand the Enneagram defense. Because when you understand a child correctly, you stop trying to force them into a generic mold. You start guiding the soul you actually have in front of you. If you want a deep personality reading for your child or teenager, one that brings together Nakshatra MBTI, Enneagram, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, house placements, and the hidden emotional pattern behind behavior, get in touch for a reading that actually works for the child you are raising, teaching, mentoring, or trying to understand. Because the right reading does not label a child, it reveals the operating system. And once you understand that operating system, you can guide the child with far more intelligence, compassion, and precision.